Yeah, yo, pull up a chair, let the real talk begin. Faith on the table where the brothers lock in. Life gets heavy, but we stand our ground. Truth in the room when the circle comes round. No mask, no front, just real men here. Talking about faith through the doubt and the fear. From the grind of the week to the lessons we share. Welcome to the men's round table, pull up a chair. Men's round table series, step inside. Real men, real faith where the truths collide. Voices at the table where the stories get shared. Welcome to the men's round table. Pull up a chair.
What if the strongest man in the room is actually running on empty? What if success has come at the expense of your health, your energy, and even the man you know you're capable of becoming? Today, we're talking about why taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's actually called stewardship. Welcome to the Men's Roundtable Series Spotlight, where we have honest conversations that help men lead with strength, purpose, and integrity. I'm Mr. U, and today I'm joined by men's coach Brian Parana, a health and lifestyle coach with over 20 years of experience helping busy, high-performing men like myself, over 40, like myself as well, reclaim their health, energy, and confidence without making fitness a full-time job. He's also the host of the Driven for Health podcast, helping men build sustainable habits and strengthen not only their bodies, but every area of their life. Coach Parana's in the house. Good to have you here, brother. How are you, man?
Yeah, thank you, sir. I am ready to drop some bombs. We're bringing lots of energy, guys. Pull out a pen and paper. You're going to leave with some valuable insights you can implement immediately from our conversation.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's get it, baby. All right. So a lot of men are successful on paper, Brian, but they're unhealthy in reality. Why do you think so many high-performing men are kind of willing to sacrifice their health so easily to build career and business, etc.? Why do you think that is?
Well, we've got a very, especially over 40, as we get into it, we have aging kids, we have aging parents. There's a lot of life happening in those, say, your nuclear family, but then your career is booming and you spent a fair amount of time building that skills and developing relationships, networking, and capacity, whether you own a business, you are in a team doing high performance things. And all of this stuff ends up taking up a lot of your time, energy, and effort. And if you aren't prioritizing your health meaning before everything else, then it's just not going to get done. How many gym bags just weep in the car when they realize that they've just done a round trip from the guys put all the stuff in it, they put it in the back seat or the trunk or wherever, and then the gym bag realizes that it's back home and it never got used, and it just wants to be useful, guys.
Oh boy.
It just cries every night that the gym session just got overlooked because life is busy. It stacks responsibilities as we go, and that ends up being the reason why. And I don't know about you, it's like it's ownership, responsibility in that, in terms of like having a house. Something breaks, you got to fix it. So all of a sudden, whatever you were going to do now, you have to go fix it, and it takes time, energy, effort. And you skip the workout as a result because that's the only time you have, juggling kids at night, work in the morning, and throughout the day and all that.
Yeah, it's something that we talk about a lot. If you guys that are watching, listening, and don't know this show, The Spotlight, is just a one-on-one version of our Men's Roundtable Series podcast, which airs every Thursday night, 7 p.m. EST. It's just a one-on-one version of that, and we talk a lot about men in the provider role. Mm-hmm. What also ends up happening in the conversation that this area of self-neglect. Have you personally seen that in your own life as trying to be a provider and neglecting yourself? I know you're doing a massive amount of coaching right now and you're into fitness very heavily, but was there ever a time that you neglected yourself in order to walk in that provider role?
Right. Now, as far as, say, the exercise piece and health and all that, it's something I've done just continuously from out of high school, ran cross country track with my best friend. Then from there, got into college. I ran there. I did marathons, triathlons. I was a personal trainer for many years. Like, I've literally just done exercise, health, fitness, nutrition my whole career. I have a degree in it in 2004 is when I got an exercise nutrition degree. Then I was a personal trainer. I owned 2 CrossFit gyms for about 5 years and been doing online health coaching, nutrition coaching for the last 15. So I've just lived, eat, sleep, and breathe this. But I that provider role is a very strong undertone of who I am and why I do the things that I do. And you can see that in my operations and my patterns behavior around out of what I call the core four. We've got movement, we've got nutrition, water. I check those boxes all day long, not a problem. But sleep, that ends up being my Achilles heel with a wife that really enjoys being a night owl, and then early rise with kids and getting some school, or even the last 2 weeks, we have a summer play camp thing that we have to do and get the kids up and move in for that. So I'm up at 6:30 some days, and my wife wants to go to bed at 1 or 2. And I don't go to bed that late, but I end up, and so sacrificing sleep has been definitely a big thing. Also, in the early years of my gym career, my first gym business, I was pushing hard to get that thing going. We ended up having 300 active members that I ended up when I left. There's just some things in the background, partnership and different things that we didn't see eye to eye on, so I ended up leaving. But there's 300 active members there over a 2-year time frame that we built it up to, and doing very well. But it was at a heavy cost to not only myself, like sleep. I was sleeping midnight to 4 basically most days, and sneaking in naps whenever I found 15 minutes. I literally would debate with myself, if I had a 20-minute window, can I take a nap here? Literally, I went out on a date with my wife once early in the beginning, before I was accustomed to that routine of just not sleeping a lot. I fell asleep. I was dozing off at Outback Steakhouse as we were trying to have a night out. And then we went to Toys R Us when it was still a store, and we were diaper shopping, because not only did I open a business, but no, man, I did it while I had a less than a 1-year-old, and then one on the way with a month to 6 weeks to go. That's when we opened the business. So we were out shopping for diapers, and I'm death grip on the cart walking down the aisles, because I'm falling asleep standing up while moving, because I was so exhausted from that grind. And that prevailed for 2 years roughly. I mean, it wasn't every day like that. It did get subtly better, but either way, the demands of the job, the career, to provide and produce, and ultimately, even one last thing is, I have self-sacrificed some relationship around the closest people to me because of that provider role. Like, I always have to work, and that's in my brain. I have to hustle. I have to answer every text message. I have to reply to every comment in the socials. I have to do all these things, and it's at a sacrifice of being engaged with my family. Now, I am heavily engaged with my family. I take them to everything. I'm always there, show up at all their activities. We've traveled all 50 states, multiple countries and continents.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're going to Alaska here next week. We just came back from Peru on spring break, and we're going to Ireland on Thanksgiving. So I'm heavily involved in family. So that's a number one priority. But that work is right underneath it, and it takes up a substantial amount of time. So yes, I have self-sacrificed because of the provider role quite a bit.
All right, we want to get into this a little bit more. I know that we don't have a unlimited amount of time, but I want to get there because we're talking about basically high performance stuff. And I really feel like there is a lie attached to the whole idea of high performance. I'm saying that hopefully it doesn't sound hypocritical, because I'm a high performance coach. I'm building that very slowly, very, very slowly. I've been coaching for 28 years, but the high performance realm is new for me. So I've been kind of weaving my way into that. But you're talking about something that men over 40 have quietly accepted: the whole weight gain situation, the low energy, the health declining, the lack of sleep. Like you said, you're out on your feet, basically punch drunk, walking around, with a shopping cart. I mean, this stuff is becoming normal to us. Can you kind of speak to the people who are the husbands, fathers, brothers, and sons who are watching this that have maybe normalized that kind of mindset? What did you do to change the habits, if you will, to allow you to have more of you being invested in these situations? Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. Life is fast forward. I mean, it's like, if we go back to the VHS things, it's like, press that fast forward button like 18 times. It's like, Right. That's how fast we're going, especially with the age of AI here and information overload and the internet and all these things. And for the guys, the high performers, are trying to keep up. I feel it heavily. It's like if you're not on social media 8 times a day, then you're not gonna be ever seen. Or if you don't have
That's
different
powerful.
hooks and captions and different images and reels and talking heads, and that's just for content. That's not even for actual doing business and serving people. And so fast forward, we have an ultra fast lifestyle, especially with AI really taking mainstream. It's like a hockey stick. So we're seeing that. Number two is that when guys are in this process of building a career, building their profession, building some form of wealth so they can take care of their family and provide, and building their family, right? When they get into the 40s, they have teenagers or in some range, usually 10 to 20 in a sense. And you've spent so much time just juggling family, juggling newborn kids, juggling, trying to make it in your career and in the work field. So we have that. Then you wake up in your 40s, and I understand the midlife crisis now. If I was 50 pounds overweight and I had bad blood panel work that the doctor is threatening to put me on medicine, I would be worried too. Because guys, the average life expectancy is only to 70 years young globally. So you're running out of time quick. And if you're already stacking the deck at being overweight and having some form of a chronic health issue of diabetes, cholesterol, blood pressure, or you're on medicine or anything to resolve that, you are at a weekend advantage and stuff. So guys, wake up to this situation finally, whether it's I saw a picture of myself, my suit doesn't fit. I got up in front of everyone. I was self-conscious for the first time in front of a board meeting. I went to the doctor and they named something that I actually have. It was just, they were watching, but my check engine light finally broke. For years it was on, but finally something broke, and now the doctor's calling me out. So this, or the number on the scale, I can't believe it's here, right? Those are common reasons why I see someone. And the very first thing that I have to do is slow them down. We have to take a breath, and we have to then start doing some self-analysis around where they're at physically, mentally, emotionally, but also around what their level of ability, skills, and understanding comes when it comes to taking care of themselves. And of course, I talked about the core four of movement. How much are they moving in the day? Do they go to the gym at all or do any form of muscle building activities? Nutrition, which is, are they eating healthy foods? Are they skipping meals, over caffeinated, and just eating whatever comes in front of them, which is most of the time while they're juggling in between client meetings or whatever's in the break room. Number three is water. These guys are walking around like SpongeBob in the Sahara. They are dried up sponges that they just don't drink water all day long. And lastly, is they don't sleep. They fall into that same rut of always being on, always have to check their emails or reply to some fire that they have to put out. And it costs them big in their energy. So as soon as we slow down and admit that we have a problem, and guys, it's okay to admit that you have problems. And fortunately, like this platform here is a call out to it. And I appreciate what you do every single day here and all your lives and the roundtable guys you have here to talk about real issues. But we have, men's mental health is more accepted now, because in the 50s, men don't ask for directions ever. Like your grandpappy would have been mocking you at this point. Like, what do you mean you're trying to cry or something? Like, no, like guys can cry. It's okay.
Yeah.
We can have human emotions. And so as soon as we realize that, and then we understand where the gap is around the education and the application, because so many guys say, oh, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. Well, I mean, if you want to lose weight, it's pretty basic. It's like, let's move more and eat a little less. Right, those are the basic tenets of getting healthier and happier with how you look and feel. But as soon as we then assess where the gaps are and how to strategically implement real solutions for their real life, then it gets a lot easier, because weight loss or even weight management, it's simple, but it's not easy. And my job as the coach is to try to make it both. How do we make food more enjoyable, activity getting in without taking up so much time, and it fit a little bit easier in your day?
We got time for a few more questions. I want to come back to that whole idea of the high performance lab, because I've seen this so many times.
Yep.
Not only As a matter of fact, in my own life, I'm being real about it. Even in my own life as well, but also in the life of people who are potential clients, people who I'm in business circles with. It feels like, Brian, that self-discipline is easier when the goal is something like money, perhaps, or status of some kind,
Right.
some kind of responsibility like that. But it gets much harder and less attainable when the goal is personal health.
Right.
Why do you think that is a situation with men in general?
Definitely. What's the measuring stick in our society? It's usually how big your bank account is, what type of car you drive, what type of house you live in. And when you abide by those standards, then and you surround yourself with people, Tony Robbins says it, the 5 closest people that you surround yourself with are going to be the biggest influencers on who you are and what you do and how you act and how you think. And if you're surrounding yourself in this high business pressure, pressure cooker type crucible situation, then that becomes the stick at which you measure success. And then at all costs, usually all or nothing, because guys are really good at hustle, grind mode and going all in, then they will self-sacrifice on the health side because their surrounding network doesn't take care of themselves in a way that is relevant when it comes to being successful. And because of the measuring stick. Now, when we go to other ways of forms of wealth away from just monetary, we have health is wealth and relationships are wealth. And there's a lot of other doing good for other people, volunteering your time is wealth in different formats that we can measure. And once we start to have these buckets, these different areas of our life more full, more balanced, and we don't just say, hey, I need to be a multi-millionaire or something, and then we can find a lot more happiness, and we don't have to go so hard so fast, and we don't have to be responsible for hundreds of thousands of dollars in our business and such. Then we can actually take time, energy, effort to be able to have a more balanced life and take care of your health, because ultimately at the end of the day, your health is your wealth. I'm so glad you built that 7, 8, 9-figure business, but now you're crippled, you have type 2 diabetes, you have kidney. I've got 2 guys in their 60s that have done very well in their careers, but they're dealing with stage 3 kidney disease because they didn't take care of themselves. And they're like, well, I'm healthy and fit. And like, dude, you spent 20 years running your engine with no oil and you never checked the engine light and turned it off and took it to the shop to get it fixed. You just grinded. And now you're seeing the costs of this. And I always say this, you choose your actions, you don't choose your consequences. Parents, pause this and write that down. You can just use it all over your kids all the time. You choose your actions, not the consequences to that. So if you skip meals and you just the same setup of skipping meals, over caffeinating, just eating whatever you can in the day, just because like whatever, it's convenient, then you're at a higher risk of running into those type of situations when you're in your 50s, 60s, and you're a walking heart attack if you're overweight, have high cholesterol and high blood pressure. You don't want that situation because it doesn't matter how much money you have, you could die at the worst of it all. You could die much younger.
Worst case scenario. Yeah, you can die. No question. So I want you to help out all the men that are watching this or will be watching on replay, because I know that you, from what I gathered, from what I learned about you, you believe in sustainable systems over motivation, which I love. I know that motivation does not get people out of the bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. Every morning.
To do the work
on the freeway when you know it's going to be jam-packed and you got a 90-minute commute. It's not happening. Motivation is not going to get you there. You're going to be frustrated.
1000% agree.
You need to have some kind of system. What I want you to speak to all those that are listening or will be watching this later on is about the non-negotiable habits, because I really feel that, generally speaking, it's not people who I know, not friends of mine, just a general statement. Around a lot of men in a lot of situations like this or in closed circles, and it's going to be a lack of non-negotiable habits that we need to hold on to regarding our schedule, our health. What are your non-negotiable that, you know what, I'm doing this no matter what. I will not allow anybody to move me out of this square. What are your non-negotiable habits? And And kind of share that with the men that are watching us today.
Yeah, this is perfect. Number one, we understand power of choice. You always get to choose what your life experience is. We're only living in the present to then be able to positively influence the future. And we don't want to relive the past. We want to bring the health, the wonderful experiences we had with us, and we want to learn from our not so good choices that we made in the past too, because everyone does it, right? We're just human beings and it's going to happen. But in the present, we're in the here and now, you have a choice. I call it the AIM principle. Am I moving in the right direction toward, am I moving toward my health goals? And so A is ask that question every single time there starts to be conflict of, am I moving toward my goals or away from them? You have a point where you can just stop and ask the question. And then identify what the choices are. And oh, it's lunchtime. I have meetings. I have this available to me. What's the best choice? And then we have the actual make the move of doing the thing, following through, or then doing what I call MBF, moderation, balance, flexibility. So if lunch isn't so good or healthy, then dinner should be in equal opposite direction, way better in a sense. So we can still have some flexibility in this and do that. So what do I mean when I say that the AIM principle and moving toward this? Now, the non-negotiables that I have with the Call to Rise 100-day fat loss challenge that I have with my guys, I'm getting them to lose 20, 30 pounds in 100 days, start to clear up some of their bad blood panel work and live a sustainable lifestyle. The non-negotiables are 10K steps a day, 100 ounces of water or more, ideally 7+ hours of sleep. Anything 6 or less is scientifically backed that you're going to struggle losing weight because you're literally up longer, you're stressing your body, more cortisol, and you're going to potentially risk eating more calories just because you're literally up 2 extra hours every single day. Times 7, that's 14 extra hours that you have to navigate and manage. Am I going to put food in my mouth, whether I'm stressed or not? Well, you're tired and you're overwhelmed with a fast-paced life and having all these responsibilities. It's likely, if you bad, poor habits, is to do that. So we have those, and then we have those ones, and it's really oftentimes in the beginning we have to start off with creating small wins, as you know, and I know that's how we build momentum. So we pick 2 things. Oftentimes I just get guys to walk more and drink more water in the first couple of days. Then that starts to cascade, not even go to the gym. Everyone's like, what's the best gym workout? I'm like, well, when was the last time you worked out? And they're like, yeah. Then let's just walk more. Let's squeeze it into your day in actionable times, because movement is energy. And we will do that. So those are going to be some of the non-negotiables that I have for anyone else. And even myself, a long-term goal that I have, a long-term bias goal, is I want to look and feel the way I do now when I'm 50. I'm 43. And I've been saying this since I was 38 or something. Like, it'd be really cool to look like I'm 40, but be 50 years old, right? Everyone's confused, right? And that's just the joy of aging as a human, right? Could I not go all salt and pepper up top here? and can I keep some more?
I'm already there, brother.
Yeah. Right? And so these non-negotiables have to fit in my life for me to accomplish this 7-year goal, or is a 10-year goal. And so, guys, we can zoom out to have big, huge windows of time, not just like, what am I doing today or this week, but a big picture pattern behavior of how I'm going to take care of myself is a 10-year plan. And when you zoom out and realize, like, holy cow, Brian's operating on a 10-year plan and he's executing it on most days, every day type approach, then yes, then we can have a huge amount of success and a huge amount of process. So there it is. There's the non-negotiables.
Got it. Thank you, brother. All right. I'm going to ask you one more question to close our show out. Before that, I want to get a quick tip from you. And I mean quick on this one, Brian.
Yeah.
When you go out of town and you got a regimen, food-wise, schedule, you eat at this time, you eat at 6 for dinner, that kind of thing. You eat certain things and you go out of town. How do you avoid, quick tip from you now, how do you avoid falling into the trap of breaking your routine? You can't carry food with you everywhere you go, especially if you're out of town in a different city, flying somewhere. So how do you handle that real quick? And then I ask you my final question.
Yeah, I like to talk a lot, as you've already figured. Well, let's go with travel nutrition. We're looking for protein first and fiber second. So what does that mean?
I respect
Higher
it. Okay.
protein type foods that are lower fat and lots of vegetables. So you're going to dinner, protein, double vegetables. We're going for a lunch. Let's have a Chipotle bowl that's heavy on the veggies, lettuce, fajitas, maybe a little bit of
Oil
beans.
though. It's the oil that gets me. I love it, but it's the oil.
Is
I'm
it like the
scared of oil,
vinaigrette
bro.
stuff or whatnot? That stuff is pretty bomb.
No,
But
the oil they cook with.
oh yeah. Yeah, but I've had a lot of people do really well with just looking at the nutrition label, understand using the Chipotle calculator and creating a bowl that's 600 calories that has lots of protein, lots of vegetables, and they move on and off we go because they understand the basics. So what's breakfast? You could be a protein shake and a piece of fruit. That'll check the box. It's
That's
3
the hardest
minutes.
one, man.
And
Breakfast
then off
is
we
the
go.
hardest one. I don't know why it's hard, man.
There's the
It's
fastest
hard.
tip I can give you.
You know, I love it, man. It's good stuff, man. All right, final question, and we close the broadcast out for today, man. Good to have this time with you, man. I have your link up on the screen, thecalltorise.com.
Yeah.
The Call to Rise, spelled it on the way, RISE.com. All right, final question, brother. What is the most uncomfortable truth about men's health that most men don't want to hear, but you're going to tell them that today on this show? The most uncomfortable truth about men's health. Drop that big neutron bomb, and you've been saving it, brother. Here it is, brother.
When it's all said
Kaboom.
and done, it's consistency of doing the right things over a long period of time. And that is a layer of success that you can find in any area of life. Health, nutrition, business, relationships, all that is that we're doing the right things consistently over time. And if you don't know how to do those right things, then you can learn, and you definitely don't want to have to take into account.
I'm calling her right now to get another help tip.
Yeah. And we definitely don't want to release on just the internet. We want science-backed information, and that's where it's like, for example, my podcast, Driven for Health. I've released 131 episodes, and since September. So I've been cooking, as my oldest would say, one every 2.5 days or so. So there's lots of real information on there, and you don't have to fast or do keto or any of that stuff. We can just eat balanced meals and start to learn about what's in the food that we eat by looking at nutrition labels. So there you go. Consistency over time, doing the right things wins every time.
Right. You got a new subscriber starting today. I'll be joining your podcast today. I just find it. But thanks for being here, brother. Now, in today's conversation, challenge you guys that are watching and listening today, husbands, fathers, brothers, and sons. Don't let it end here. The link to where you can find Coach Brian was on our screen. It's in the show notes as well, also in the comment section. Thecalltorise.com. Take one idea from today's episode and act on it this week. Coach Brian's giving you multiple things to act on this week. Pick one of those ideas, or all three, or all four, and act on it this week. Transformation doesn't happen by collecting information. It happens by changing who you're becoming. If the conversation added value to your life, subscribe to our show. Subscribe to Brian's podcast, Driven to Health, right? Podcast. Yep. Subscribe. Share it with somebody who you know needs it in a nice way, not passive aggressive. Share with somebody you love and you care about who needs it. And we'll see you next time on the Men's Roundtable Series Spotlight. That's Coach Brian Parana. I'm Mr. U. Have a great day. Stay.
Men's Roundtable Series, step inside. Real men, real faith, where the truths collide. Voices at the table where the stories get shared. Welcome to the Men's Roundtable, pull up a chair.